Today's consumer wants to literally check it off their checklist almost on demand. So the first to pick up the phone is going to win. The first to respond to an estimate is going to win.
I really like that first step about blocking your time. As business owners, there's so many things that are super important for us to do, yet they could theoretically be procrastinated. I was just talking to one of my clients. We generated him hundreds of leads in a month. He called me. He's like, "Hey, Jordan, I'm just not growing." And I'm like, "How are you not growing if we just generated you 100 leads this month?" We kind of did a deep dive and we saw that his sales system, that when a call came through, he's like, "Oh, I can just let it go to voicemail." Or if a form came through from his website, he's like, "Oh, I'll just get to that form tomorrow when I have time." When, as you know, Mike, if you don't get to these leads super quickly, the chances of you closing them go down drastically. So with leads being one example of something that you could theoretically procrastinate getting to, what advice do you have for people who are procrastinating these super important things like setting up some getting to leads? What can people do to stop procrastinating the things that should be done first?
Yes, I mean, I like to say speed wins. My buddy Garrett Matthews, who's running probably close to 10 million out of Shreveport, Louisiana. He's one of our figure coaches. As Garrett says, speed kills, and it does. It will kill a business. So literally, today's consumer wants to literally check it off their checklist. That post-COVID buying habit, almost on demand. Netflix, Uber, DoorDash, the list goes on and on and on. Amazon. That is like the most important thing. So the first to pick up the phone is going to win. The first to respond to an estimate is going to win. So speed and going in. Hopefully we're not talking about the same individual, but I had a similar call from one of our clients who had 40 estimates literally sitting on his desk this morning, and it's been there since Monday. I'm like,
oh.
So when we do these upsells, we average probably 60 to 80 estimate requests in the first 24 hours to 48 hours. We tell them when it goes out, like, be ready, because you've got to hit these, right? Because we're not just talking to their clients. We're talking to their leads and we're talking to their canceled clients and loss estimates. So everybody in the database, with except the crazy people, we really harp on the clients and say, hey, listen, this is essential. Like, you're paying good money, but if you do this, it's going to pay for everything you're doing marketing wise for the whole year, just in this one shot. So I would say, yeah, you got to look at that. That is the number one killer, without mentioning the company's name, but this is a wild story. So we just did a Service Autopilot regional training event in upstate New York. And it was a cleaning company. So obviously you work with a lot of different service companies, but this is applicable. So they had a cleaning company and really dialed in. They serviced one postal code and that was it. And you could drive from one end of the postal code to the other in under 10 minutes. Crazy route density. Company was doing north of $3 million, I believe. And she goes, Mike, we're kind of bottlenecked. We want to get to 4 million in sales. So we start walking through some things and talking. And Jordan, you'll never guess what they didn't have. This is going to blow your mind.
I want to guess a office assistant.
Didn't need one. Well, I guess they needed one internally. They didn't have a phone or a phone number.
What?
So I literally said,
money without
you want to add another million, get a phone number and pick it up in the first 3 rings. Send me my $20,000 commission to this address, basically. Telltale signs now, from what I've heard, is they've actually put this in play. It is astronomical now, the amount of volume and things they were missing. But the analogy, the comparison, is the same thing. If you're not picking up the phone in the first 3 rings or getting right back to them or responding to those website things within minutes or hours, they're just going down that list in Google. In this company, I don't know how you could physically do $3 million in one postal code, but there was even more work in there that they had no idea, because they created a phone line and then they actually answered it. To scale to $1 million in this ecosystem, in my opinion, if I was to start all over, if you were to add another thing to that, is just pick up the phone. That's all you need to do is win.